Alright, welcome back everyone. We've got our final match of Group C of the Dota 2 Canada Cup, and I figured out what the heck's going on. It was a little bit of a disaster ending that last game, but we've recollected our thoughts. We have an idea of what's going on now.
10 seconds
So let me update you, because I at least think I know what's going on. No, I know. So with that last victory for eHug, what we have right now is a tie between Not Today and eHug. They're both tied at 2-1. Of course, both of them have finished their games. That leaves compLexity at 1-1 and Rebeldes at 0-2. So this game is actually quite important. If Rebeldes wins this, they effectively would finish 1-2, and so would compLexity. And Rebeldes would actually finish third. compLexity would finish fourth in the group, which would be a gigantic difference between last Canada Cup, where compLexity actually finished 3-0 in the group stage. They ended up even advancing past the first round last time in the playoffs. They went out in the second round, but that would be a huge change of events. So Rebeldes looking to kind of play spoilers and trying to kind of be the underdog, and well, trying to get the upper hand on compLexity here. But if compLexity wins, then it gets even more interesting. So if compLexity wins, Rebeldes finishes at 0-3. They're clearly last in the group. But then it puts compLexity at a 2-1 record, which means we've got 3 teams tied at 2-1, if that is the case. Which means, well, we only have the top 2 advance, which means we're going to have a playoff. All the teams then play each other, and unless, if it still ends up everyone's tied, then it goes to some time differential. I don't understand how that works, or it's not really that explained all that well in the rules, so we're just going to have to figure out what's going on when we get there. But first we have this game. So this game is going to be very important. It's actually important for both teams. So it should hopefully lead to a good game to watch as well. But as for everything else, of course, this is the Dota 2 Canada Cup. Go in game, buy the ticket, support this damn thing, because it's awesome, and I love casting it, and I love supporting it. I buy the ticket every season. So definitely, this is one to support. Beyond that, I've been rambling about a bunch of stuff. I don't think I've actually been rambling, but I think we've set the stage well enough. So let's actually jump on into this draft and figure out what the heck's going on. Because, well, nothing actually is that unusual, except for the fact that we've got a troll warlord who's made it through the first set of bans.
10 seconds.
And oh boy, I hope Rebeldes has a way of dealing with this. But the initial bans were Lina and Storm Spirit for compLexity, then Sniper and Axe for Rebeldes. Then compLexity picked up Troll Warlord and Vengeful Spirit. Rebeldes picked up the Ancient Apparition and the Bat Rider. Next round of bans, Zeus and Slark were the bans for compLexity, with Chen and Queen of Pain being the bans for Rebeldes. Now Rebeldes then picked up a Shadow Fiend to go with their Ancient Apparition and the Bat Rider, and that's where we stand right now in the draft. And it's going to be a Spirit Breaker for compLexity, so they were getting charged all game long last game by Infinity. Now they want to be the ones charging. So they're going to pick up that Spirit Breaker. Medusa is going to be the pick for Rebeldes. Interesting. So that's how they're going to go late against the Troll Warlord. They feel comfortable with their Medusa. And that should be our 3 cores. So we've got Bat Rider, most likely going to be in the off lane. Shadow Fiend in the mid, and Medusa in the safe lane. I wonder if maybe there's the off chance that they'll put Medusa mid and safe lane the Shadow Fiend. And that's certainly very different than what you would expect. And the only reason I say that is because you're going up against a Spirit Breaker, and that Spirit Breaker most likely is going to be wanting to charge the Shadow Fiend constantly if he's in the mid lane. And then he's kind of off on an island by himself, and the only way you're going to be able to try and support him is if you have a support sitting very close to him all the time, or TPing immediately. With him being in the safe lane, he's got his support right there with him. And Medusa, a lot more tanky, early on and would be able to at least survive longer than the Shadow Fiend would until that TP support does come in. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually choose to switch up their lanes like that or not. compLexity added a Nyx Assassin to their lineup here, and this is interesting because now we don't really know who the offlaner is. Initially we thought, yeah, it could have been Spirit Breaker, but that Spirit Breaker could also be support. But now with the Nyx Assassin, it still kind of leaves that up in air, and we don't really know because, of course, Nyx Assassin could fill either of those roles as well. Nyx Assassin does quite well against Medusa. The mana burn burns through her, of course, mana, and effectively gives her less mana to use for her mana shield, effectively reducing her HP pool. But I'm not sure if who's the better option here to have in the offlane. It'll be interesting to see what they choose to go with. Lion's the final pick for Rebeldes after the Treant Protector was banned out by compLexity. Rebeldes banned out the Templar Assassin. So now compLexity, they're going to have to potentially find another mid hero, unless actually what they could do is put the Nyx Assassin mid.
5 seconds
if it's against the Shadow Fiend, that probably wouldn't be a good idea. If it's against a Medusa, it'll be a slightly less bad idea. So don't really expect them to put the Nyx mid. I don't think the Troll will really... I think they're just probably better off running him in the safe lane. So this should be a mid hero, hence why the TA was banned. What do you go with here? I feel like you need more damage. Queen of Pain's banned. Storm's banned. TA's banned now. Sniper's gone. Lena's gone.
10 seconds remaining.
Yikes. This is a tough one.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, we're going to find out in just a few seconds here. What? What? It's a Warlock. All right. All right. I think you guys can tell I'm a little shocked by that one. Warlock. Okay. Interesting, and it is Swindle Melons who has already selected that. So most likely it's going to be a mid Warlock, which is actually quite strong. Warlock in the mid lane is kind of scary. Once you put Warlock in a solo role like that, or a solo lane, and he gets the XP, he actually becomes really hard to deal with. His attack animation is also incredible. His attack damage is good. With some levels under his belt, he actually becomes very difficult to deal with. With his what is it actually called? Shadow Word. He can really put a lot of pressure on his opponent, and he can also use Fatal Bonds too. He's actually really strong at laning. A lot of people don't or underestimate how strong of a laner Warlock can be, and it's interesting to see compLexity pull that out here when their fate in the tournament is on the line here. But let's introduce everything. We've got Rebeldes on the Radiant side. They're well, a win here would make them finish third in the group. A loss would put them dead last. So either way, they're not going to advance to the next round, but they'd at least like to finish third. So playing their line is going to be XX. Cat is going to be on the Ancient Apparition. Therence is once again going to be standing in, and he's going to be on the Batrider. HFN is going to be on the Medusa, and Old K is going to be on the Shadow. As for our Dire side, we have Team compLexity, Swindle Melons, going to be taking control of that Warlock. We're going to have to keep our eye on Warlock and what he's able to do. Fly is going to be on the Nyx Assassin. Zizzy is going to be on the Troll Warlord. Z-Freak on the Spirit Breaker. And Zizo, or however you want to pronounce that, he's going to be on the Vengeful Spirit. No smokes. We do have a set of sentries though on the Lion. So looking to counter ward off in this off lane and try and find this Observer Ward, and he'll find it first time around. So it's going to be a little bit of a difficult off lane for Z-Freak, as he's going to be in the off lane on the Spirit Breaker. He's going to be going up against the Lion and the Medusa.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
I just saw it on the minimap. Unfortunately, I didn't get the camera over there fast enough, but the Vengeful Spirit found her way between the towers and destroyed, got the kill on the courier. And that's actually a really good play. A lot of mid players will do that. They'll send the courier out at that like early stage in the game because they're waiting for those final few gold ticks to give them that little bit. And well, a little bit of metagaming there coming out from compLexity as they pick off that courier and already give Swindlemounds a little bit of a head start in this mid lane. So he's going to be on the Warlock going up against the Shadow Fiend. Once again, the Vengeful Spirit looks like she's going to be putting a lot of pressure on the mid lane early on in this game. In the top lane, we're going to have the Bat Rider going up against the Nyx and the Troll. You know, the Venge now making a rotation back up here. Trying to come in behind the Bat, but unfortunately, oh, never mind. I thought Bat was going to easily make it back to the tower, but he almost walked into the Venge, then thought better of it, walked back towards the tower, and unfortunately Fly missed the stun there on the Nyx Assassin.
Nothing for you.
So with the way these lanes are going right now, like AA's been doing a lot of stacking and pulling. And I think the Spirit Breaker's actually been able to get a decent amount. He's already level 2, but without that Observer Ward, I think he's going to feel very limited. And Z-Freak's gone way too aggressive here as he's just going to get CC'd up. And this is going to be our first blood. Not really sure what he was thinking there, but obviously he overextended quite a bit there. And he got punished for it. So Rebeldes not letting anything slip by them. As we've got a charge here onto the mid. Shadow Fiend coming out from the Spirit Breaker. He's actually going to make his way towards the bottom rune, and this is going to be a potential setup for a kill. Oh, Old K is going to be so happy to see that regen there. He has no idea what's coming right now. As here we go, Spirit Breaker even charging through the Lion and interrupts that regen from healing Old K back up, and we are going to see the Shadow Fiend take a fall. Swindlemounds took a good amount of damage there, but with 150 HP, he'll just bottle back up, eat a tree, and stay in the mid lane. We're going to have a second charge coming out from Z-Freak onto Lion this time. But Therence has just arrived here as well, and now Z-Freak, maybe he's going to overextend one more time. He's going to try to get out through the Ancients. But now Therence is going to be cutting him off. Oh, Old K was going to cut him off as well, but then the charge came back off cooldown. He's going to charge up here to the top, range creep, and that's going to get him back to safety. So a little bit of a crazy dive there for a bit there from Z-Freak, but he gets out alive, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe a little bit of time lost that he could have been back in the lane a little bit sooner, but it's no big deal. They got the kill anyways, and a kill on, well, I'd say this is definitely the most valuable target at this point in the game, the Shadow Fiend. You want to really try and get him down. Don't let him get going early on in the game. The longer you can prevent him from snowballing and starting to increase his net worth so damn fast, the better it's going to be for you guys. Well, as for the mid lane, we do see the Warlock winning slightly, 16-5 versus 14-3. That's going to be a little bit skewed by the Courier getting killed, and of course the Shadow Fiend getting killed, and that little bit of action that has been going on. But Warlock holding its own in the mid lane against the Shadow Fiend. Troll Warlord way out in front in terms of CS. He's at 29 and 15, and surprisingly, a full 10 CS ahead of this Medusa. He's getting charged, but that's just so that Z-Freak can get down there a little bit quicker. Electing to pick up the treads too. Not going for a Hand of Midas. He's going treads and maybe treads, Ring of Aquila. Yasha probably. Could go for Hand of Midas, but not typically if you've already finished your treads. Could also go for the Lincolns, which is actually okay against the Spirit Breaker. The charge is cancelled by the Lincolns. Curry delivering the bottle to Old K in the mid lane. Swindlemounds has a haste bottled up in his. And Old K clearly having to rely quite a bit on bottle crowing here. The amount of harass that comes out from the Warlock from that Shadow Word is actually, it's quite significant. So we can take a look at exactly how much damage it does. Is 35 damage a second for 11 seconds. It's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Of course, that's reduced by magic immunity here, and we got a wraparound here on Old K. XX is there to kind of help him out, but he's only going to be able to get an Earth Spike off onto one. Swindlemelon's getting the kill there. Z-Freak was even there for a charge. So 4 heroes from the side of compLexity converging on the mid lane to kill that Shadow Fiend once again. Rebeldes has to do something to keep this Shadow Fiend alive, and I said it in the draft, you know, maybe they will slide that Shadow Fiend into the bottom lane and put the Medusa mid to kind of prevent some of these Shadow Fiend charges and the amount of potential rotations that were to come out from compLexity. But Rebeldes choosing not to go with that route, and on hindsight, maybe it was the right call, or maybe I'm just completely off base and then you'd just be still losing your Shadow Fiend or losing your Dusa constantly, and maybe this is still just the better route. I don't know, but it is at least going how I potentially thought it could have. And now the Shadow Fiend just seems a little bit like a liability at this point. Of course, Old K will be able to get back in the game. He can farm up the jungle a little bit and then hop back in the lane. I don't know what the heck that was. That was a questionable raise. I don't think he meant to press that key. That was probably a little bit of a misclick there. And him doing this allows XX to soak up a little bit of XP. He's only actually going to be here for 1 XP or 1 creep XP worth before Old K gets back in there. But now XX should go and stack up another camp in the jungle when he gets the opportunity to. Earthspike came out there, but it was a little short. Swindlemelon's actually dropping the rock, which it might allow Zizu to get into range. It's not going to matter anyways. Surprisingly, that Warlock able to get the kill there with the whatever the heck that thing's called. I keep thinking Familiar, then I keep thinking Malphus, but Malphus is the name from DotA, or from Han. It's got a name. It's got a name besides Golem, I think. I don't know. Either way, Old K getting charged out this time. Z-Freak actually canceling that. I think that was obviously accidental.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But it's actually it's a little scary how big the AoE on Upheaval is. I mean, take a look at it around Warlock, but it also has that lasting effect. For 3 seconds after they get out of it, they're still slowed. And we saw just XX not able to get away from it at all. It's so damn slow. And Swindlemelons is going to get hexed up here. Followed up by an Earth Spike. Old K had just TP'd on in. And they're going to get a kill onto Swindlemelons. He's going to get punished for sticking around there a little bit too long. Nice gank coming out from Rebeldes. And Z-Freak was charging in, but cancels once again. So 3-2 now. compLexity find himself still in the lead. But they did just lose their Warlock, and we got 1,400 gold on the Ancient Apparition, but no items. Absolutely nothing. So he's got 1,400. What is he saving for? Is this just saving directly for a Hand of Midas recipe? I think it may be. Well, that's a little greedy. Well, it's not. It'll pay off, but it's a little greedy getting there. That's for damn sure. And it puts a little bit more burden on XX's. Ah, there was actually a solo kill there in the top lane. I'm not. Obviously, Fly was low, or Fly was able to get the kill on the Batrider there because he was low, but I don't know how exactly that would have happened, but. Because I think they were just sitting there laning 1v1 against each other. So maybe the bat tried to go on to Fly, popped the Firefly, and then he got stunned up, followed up by Vendetta, and then just for the hit, not for anything else. Because the Vendetta wasn't like the cooldown was fairly fresh. It wasn't like he had used it quite a while ago. So it's not like he popped Vendetta and then tried to set up a kill on the Batrider, snuck in and opened when the time was right. It seemed like he had just used it for damage. Either way, we're going to see compLexity go for the early Rosh here, and it's one of the luxuries of having not only Troll Warlord, but having Troll Warlord on the Dire side.
Dire's middle tower is under
Aegis
attack.
will go on him. Z-Freak running around hasted. Still actually slower than charge speed when you've got it leveled up. He still has it at level 1. But he just used the Nether Strike onto Barrett, and that's going to get them the kill. Even finishes it off with a little bit of a bash proc there. Now he's going to charge again. This time he's going to go right through the AA, right to the Lion. But now we're going to have the Stone Gauge coming out from HFN. Now everyone on compLexity is going to try to turn their back. But now they're going to re-engage. Z-Freak turned around a little bit too early. He's going to get frozen up. And oh no, have they overextended? I can't tell. As the Warlock is going to prove his worth yet again, as he's going to get a double there. As they get the kill onto the Medusa. But will they lose their Troll Warlord here as they try to run away? Troll's so tanky. Wow, he will go down the hand. The raise just barely reaching. That was really close to being out of range. But in the end, I think that's slight advantage to compLexity as they get 3 versus just losing 2 there. So slight gold advantage for them. And Swindlemelons he's been proving the value of this Warlock pick. He really has. He's picked up a Hand of Midas, so he's going to be able to continue progressing with his items. Saw a little bit of the bottle drop there on a second as Zizu was TPing on in, and that's a little bit of trick that you can do. It's kind of exploiting Dota, the way that the Dota mechanics work in terms of the fountain. Basically, when you leave the fountain, you actually have a little lasting effect of the fountain on you. And what you can do is you can actually drop your bottle on the ground, and someone who is just TP'd from the fountain picks up your bottle and actually will refresh a completely empty bottle. So they just took advantage of that there. But Swindlemelons will get caught out here. Lasso's going to be used. They've already used the finger on him. And yep, he's just going to go down. AL's going to fly in, but not needed to kill the Warlock, and all it will do is just a little bit of damage to the Vengeful Spirit.
Top tower is under attack.
Fly's on the hunt. He's in his Vendetta. He already has Blink Dagger and Arcane Boots, and he's going to open up onto the AA here. Get him quite low, but will he be able to finish him off? He will. Pops that Carapace right in the right time to reflect a little bit of damage back to the AA, but also to stun up the Shadow Fiend that was going to be trying to return some damage to him.
Tower is under attack.
So Fly making some good rotations so far on the next Assassin. He's got a decent amount of gold under his belt, that's for sure. Spirit Breakers sitting on 1,400 gold as well. Already has his treads finished. Even the Vengeful Spirit, not too poor. Looks like she's building towards an urn and a tranquil boots. Troll Warlord with this ancient stack will obviously be able to add a bunch more gold to his name. As actually the Venge has gotten a few of these, but the Troll Warlord has Helm of the Dominator and a Blade of Alacrity, so looking like he's going to be finishing his Yasha as his next item. And we've got an Ogre Club for the Warlock. I'm guessing that will build towards an Egg Scepter, although, yep, okay, Point Booster is going to come out. I was going to say BKB could be an option because the sheer amount of magical damage that can be coming out from Rebeldes, and that's something certainly to respect. But Swindlemelons is going to go with the Egg Scepter first, and he may look to add a BKB on later on. Well, how's our Dusa doing here? Has a Yasha, has the Treads and the Aquila, 700 gold as well. Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Just a little bit behind the Troll Warlord when it comes to last hits. Shadow Fiend. He's been struggling a little bit more. When a Shadow Fiend's third in terms of last hits, that's not a position that you want to be in, given he's not that far behind, but still. He hasn't finished his Yules. He does just have the Staff of Wizardry, 800 gold. He's got the DD bottled up, and they're going to try to do something with this. If they 4-man smoked and made their way up onto the high ground here on the far side of the river, that's just to place an Observer Ward. But here we go. We're going to see a confrontation as they're going to engage on each other. The lasso is going to be used to pull the Nyx Assassin back in, and he's going to get blown up. And they're also going to get the kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Swindlemelon's not able to drop the rock there, and he's going to go down as well. Wow. That's a value smoke ink for Rebeldes as they clean up 3. And frankly, they don't even lose much HP doing so.
Middle tower is under attack.
Right at the start of that, we had Cat fly in his Hand of Midas, so it was just a complete naked Midas coming out from the AA. But you're going to see him quickly add some more items, including boots onto that in just a second.
Middle tower
Thanks
has
to not only the Hand of Midas, those couple kills, but also destroying that tier 1 tower. Yeah, he's got his boots of speed in the stash right now. So, Therence, he's got his Blink Dagger. He's almost got his 4-staff finished as well. That fight was absolutely gigantic for Rebeldes, as he's going to have that completed in just under 200 gold. Or just about 200 gold, I should say. XX sitting on 600 with Tranquils. He's actually not doing too bad for himself either. We got 1800 now on the DotA. And there's that 4-staff getting completed. So let's switch on over to the net worth and see exactly what that means in terms of numbers. So it means our Troll Warlord's still at number 1, 7800. Second is actually the Shadow Fiend, 76. Then the DotA at 72, and DotA, is going to get initiated on there and just gets cleaned up way too quickly. There was a TP coming in, but that wasn't going to be there anywhere even remotely close to on time. Not because of slow reaction, just because the DotA died that fast.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
attack.
attack.
We will have
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Still farming, and Old K is actually going to be able to take a top tier 1 tower here without it being contested. They will use the glyph, of course. It's going to get refreshed its cooldown as soon as that tower falls. But it's just going to be a trade. compLexity taking the bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
As they're trying to set something up, trying to catch a hero off as they make a rotation down to the bottom lane. Doesn't look like anyone on Rebeldes is going to be making that rotation.
Dire's top tower is
but
under
compLexity
attack.
is ready if they do. Instead, they're just going to go together and farm up the ancient camp.
Tower is under attack.
Now, where's XX? Okay, he's just doing a little bit of counter warding here. He's not going to find an observer ward. In fact, the only observer ward I can see on the map right now is this one, which was actually the one that we saw the other game that I said probably wouldn't be countered, and then it immediately got countered. But it's another one of those wards that's going to spot out some of those rotations through the Radiant jungle, but it's a good way of tracking down where the Shadow Fiend is, and also to some extent where the DotA is, and maybe even the Bat Riders. All three of them are going to most likely be hopping in the jungle and clearing stacks. compLexity says, you know what, if we're going to be down here, occupying the space, we're going to be farming at the same time. So they're actually farming in the Radiant jungle, but Z-Freak, I'm sure he knows, but the enemy's team is dangerously close to him. See, Old K, purchase a Blink Dagger. It's actually in his stash, so it's not on him, but he'll have that to go with his Yule Scepter. Got Urn finished now by the Vengeful Spirit, and here we go. They got the initiation as they catch out Zizzy. And another good smoke gank coming up from Rebeldes. Been very successful with their smokes thus far. Z-Freak just going to TP away. Not going to risk anything. Right below is Fly. Now he of course has Blink Dagger and Vendetta, so his escape, if he were to potentially get caught here, would be a lot easier. However, XX has the ability to CC him up long enough. But Vendetta's already been popped, and they don't have detection on any of them. There is some sentries in the stash for the Lion, and it's actually going to fly out on the courier here right now. And Fly, I don't think he's going to open on this. Question is, will he be able to pick off the courier if he's in a position to do so? Looks like the courier's not going to fly near him. Oh, where's he going now? Okay, it's stopping.
Tower is under attack.
Oh, now it's going to fly out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think they were just a little wary of sending it out or whatever. But either way, Fly won't be there. His teammates putting some pressure on the top lane. Swindle Melons and Zizu are going to try to get some damage on this tier 1. The courier just flew in the Egg Scepter for the Warlock. HFN just getting harassed there by Fly, just burning his mana, just being annoying. But that's, I mean, it's effectively a nuke, right? I mean, you get rid of that mana on the DotA, and this mana shield absorbs 2.5 damage per mana. That's, I mean, that's quite significant when all of a sudden you run out of mana, the amount of damage you start taking. It's kind of, it's almost like when you're Anti-Mage and you're right-clicking someone down and all of a sudden they run out of mana, your damage just kind of falls off the cliff. It's almost like the opposite. When you're attacking a Medusa and all of a sudden her mana hits 0, you just start hitting so hard in terms of effective damage. I see them using that Spike Carapace to stun up the Bat Rider. This is one of these counters that we saw for a while, but it's kind of fallen out of favor. And it's good to see that Nyx is kind of coming back into the game and people aren't so afraid to pick him anymore. As he's still a very capable hero. And his versatility is obviously still there. He could run in the off lane, he could run as a support, and there's the off chance that he could be run as a mid.
Is under attack.
Well, we've got Roche getting taken by the Troll Warlord, but another smoke from Rebeldes. They've been 2 for 2 so far. They're going to engage with the lasso, but the swap was right on point from the Vengeful Spirit. And so far, this one not looking very Rebeldes favored is compLexity. Actually, never mind, now the Troll is on the run. Old K blinking forward. It's a man fight, and Old K's winning. Oh my goodness, the misses. It ends up being even, as they both go down at the same time. But we do have a buyback from Zizzy. He wants to get involved in this fight. XX is going to go down, so is Cat. So compLexity do end up winning that fight. When it's all said and done, I unfortunately couldn't click on the show fight recap fast enough. I'll just bring it up here for you. The luxury of being in Dota TV. And that's not really showing us the information that we want. There we go.
Radiant's middle tower,
so we can see it was clearly an advantage for compLexity, but they did use a buyback there.
Never die.
And frankly, it was a buyback that wasn't really necessary. The buyback didn't actually have an impact on the fight. What it did do is allow them to then go and take Roche, because they had their Troll Warlord, and they wanted to put that Aegis on the Troll Warlord to begin with.
Middle tower is under attack.
They could have taken the Roche without the buyback, but
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Then you've got to put the Aegis on someone else, and they really wanted it to be on the Troll Warlord. So in the end, a little bit of a value buyback, I guess, to some extent. So we're going to see another Shadow Blade on a Spirit Breaker. That's what Z-Freak has just picked up to go with his Hand of Midas. Swindlemelon still just Hand of Midas and eggs, sitting on 2,200 gold. It'll be interesting to see what he goes for next. Will it be a refresher? The kind of standard build that we always see, because apparently we always see Warlock, but no. The Egg Scepter into refresher, because it's a very, very strong. Old K is going to get chased down here by Zizzy. He's going to have to Yules himself up in the air, which will buy him time for his teammates to get there, but he's still going to go down before XX is able to land that Earth Spike. It was a good one, though, landing on 2. And Z-Freak actually charging on in. I didn't even see him coming onto XX there. With those 2 heroes down, compLexity will look to push this tier 2 tower, and this should go down without too much contest.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Coming out from the side of Rebeldes, and unfortunately they're struggling a little bit here. As
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well, the fight at Roche was good, but that last little fight not the best for them. Now Fly sticking on HFN like glue. And here comes the charge from Z-Freak. Stone Gaze will get popped. Both of them try to turn around. Z-Freak gets frozen basically with his back facing Medusa. That was so close to him being turned around. Looks like they're still going to be able to get the kill. Manta's going to get popped. That's not going to keep him alive. So compLexity maintain the pressure on this Dusa, and a lot of it's thanks to Fly, but Z-Freak's been there with the charges. He's been a little crazy with the charges at times, but he's been there, and maybe he learned from last game where it seems like he was getting charged quite a bit. But looks okay. Troll Warlord has the SNY. He's going to have a BKB soon, as he's going to have enough gold now, basically, to buy that. And Swindlemelon still hasn't spent any of that gold. I'm curious. I really want to know. Please. He does have quite a bit of reliable gold, so he's probably just maintaining that. And not throwing it away, because anything he picks up here isn't going to be a complete item, which isn't going to be a huge power spike. for him. Old K just blinked and now he's going to get charged. He will get the Yules onto Swindle Melons and try to TP out, but he didn't realize Z-Freak was so close. And the charge will just interrupt that TP, and that's another kill for the side of compLexity. As not only have they been getting kills, but they've been getting kills on pretty high value targets. They just got that kill on the Shadow Fiend that we saw, and then right before that they got the kill on the DotA down here as well. So not only are they finding those kills, but they're making sure that they're creating situations for them to find those kills on high value targets. Because I don't want to look away from Swindle Mounds. 3,800. Please show us. Show us what it's gonna be. I need to know. I don't know why, but it's like I don't know what it's gonna be, so I need to know. I think the refresher is the easy answer, but I think BKB would be high value too. I think Necro Book's not bad. I think there's a lot of things that are quite valuable. I should explain a little bit on why Necro Book is so valuable. So it is somewhat similar to the Nyx and how he's burning the mana of the DotA. You can do the same thing with the Necro Book minions. Of course, there's a decent amount of AoE damage that comes out from the side of Rebeldes as well. So if they inadvertently kill those Necro minions, or at least the red Necro minion, with that AoE, they're going to take a whole bunch of damage from that. And of course it gives you a little bit more push, helps you break those high grounds, which, you know, you've got a Troll Warlord on your side, you have some pretty good scaling, but you are going against a DotA, so you are going to want to finish this game at some point. Z-Freak charges in on XX one more time, and oh my goodness, that damage that came in on the Lion. And you know, to some extent it's them hitting hard, but it's also the fact that this Lion only has 777 HP. He's got his Tranquils and his Blink, so he's not poor, but he doesn't really have that many levels. I mean, he's level 11. He's got the important one, I guess. But he's just pretty squishy. Fly has a Yules. Looks like we're going to get another Yules coming out from the Vengeful Spirit. What did Swindle buy? He spent gold. What is it? Okay. It's going to be a refresher. I want it to be something like different. The refresher is a terrific option. I mean, I guess it's not even an option. It's a terrific item. It's just really, really good. But I wanted it to be something new and unique. I do think the Necro is actually a quite valuable pickup. And see, here's the kicker. If you go after the Necro Book minion now, it's going to have a higher effectiveness because it's earlier on in the game. Those things effectively are dealing a larger percentage of damage with each hit when they attack a hero. They're also going to allow you to push a little bit earlier on, but I'll get to that in a second. We're going to see Fly go down in the mid lane, but we will get a kill into XX and one on Therence as well. Swindle actually getting both those. Those golems, it's so damn hard.
Radiant's bottom tower has
and now Rebeldes will try to TP away. Oh no! Zizo, as he was running by, saw a cat, tossed him up in the air, and now the A is desperately trying to run for his life, trying a little bit of ring around the rosy that we saw Z-Freak doing last game in the top lane. But it's not going to work out for him as he's going to go down. He doesn't have the luxury of a blink either, so it's not really fair.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
3 heroes down, and that means push.
Dire's top tower
compLexity
is under attack.
is going for the tier 3 in the
Radiant
bottom lane.
structures are fortified.
Rebeldes will try to defend, but not before their tier 3 is going to fall. So HFN has just picked up a Scotty. He's going to get swapped into the middle of the heroes on Cole as the rock will come down from the Warlock, and this Deuce is actually quite tanky. The mana's getting low though, so expect that damage to increase. Incoming damages, here we go, as the Deuce is going to go down, and now Old K, oh no, he's getting so slow, this upheaval. It's so frustrating to play against, you can just see why. The heroes are like turtles out there, they're even slower than a turtle. They're barely even moving with the effect of that upheaval, and even when you get out of it, like I said, it's an earth. It lasts for 3 seconds. So even when you think you've freed yourselves of those chains, I don't know what I'm saying. Even when you've freed yourself of the slow, it still lingers, and It's just one of those skills you're just like, why? What is this? Why is this? Ice frog, please. Well, compLexity. They've been in the driver's seat for most of this game. There were some pretty positive moments for Rebeldes, but you have to say right now they're in a really good spot. As a lot of it's been on the back of, well, 2 here. Actually, I can't even just say 2 or 3 hero picks, because if I were to say 2 hero picks, it would be the Warlock and the Nyx, which are 2 not so popular heroes when it comes to the current meta. But the Spirit Breaker has had such a big impact too, with the charges allowing the Nyx to get in those, or the Nyx gets in a position allowing the charge to happen, and then with the charge, the 2 of them are able to combine. So you can't just give all the credit to the Nyx. You got to give credit to the Spirit Breaker. Once again, it's the damn Shadow Blade on the Spirit Breaker. It's messing with my head. Then, like, you've got the Warlock, and then, of course, you can't forget the fact that they've got a Troll Warlord, and on top of that, the swaps have been on point from the Venge. It's just been a good, solid draft and good, solid teamwork coming up from compLexity, as we're going to see Old K go down again. Lasso's been used onto the Troll Warlord, but Terrence is just trying to run for his life. Cat's going to get caught up, too, and he's going to go down. The Bat will be able to fly away from... well, fly and make his way all the way up here and try to TP away, but he still is on cooldown for 20 seconds, but compLexity has given up chase. In the mid lane, we've got the DotA slowed to all hell by the upheaval, but the static, or the stone gaze was popped as well. There we go, the rock's going to come down, and the refresh, and the second rock, and holy moly, those heroes are both going to go down so quickly. Those golems. Wicked sick. The mega kill streak coming out for Swindle Melons, and rightfully so. Those 2 golems. Oh, 4 golems, sorry. The two rocks.
Tower is under attack.
Just incredible. GG's going to get called, and immediately Rebeldes is going to leave the game on the back of that. As compLexity takes it.
Dire victory.
And that means we have a 3-way tie. So we're going to have a playoff between these teams to determine who will actually be a part of that top 2. And, well, I have read the rules regarding this. I'm going to try and figure out when those games are going to be played for you guys, if they're going to be played now. That will obviously be something that we will want to take a look at. But those could be rescheduled to another time or whatnot. But either way, it's going to be a 3-way tie between Not Today, compLexity, and eHug. Rebeldes, unfortunately, they're going to finish 0-3. They did qualify for the Dota 2 Canada Cup by coming through the qualifiers, whereas these other teams were all invited. So we'll try and figure out what's going on with those next games. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just kind of to sign off the end of this game, and I'll leave the stream going, and I'll try and figure out what's going on with regards to that, and I'll keep you guys updated. I'm not going to shut down the stream and then bring it back up or anything like that. I'll find out what's going on before I do any of that. But hopefully you did enjoy this game, as compLexity pulling out well, a little bit of unusual heroes, as Warlock was on the board this time around. So that's really cool and interesting. Good to see compLexity mixing it up a little bit there, and good to see it working out for them. But that's going to wrap it up for this game. Once again, I'm Niz. Hopefully you'll hit that follow button on twitch.tv/NizCast and listen to some more of my casts in the future. Beyond that, you can also follow me on Twitter at NizCast, and you can find all the VODs from everything I've cast recently on youtube.com/NizCast. like I said, I'm gonna throw it to music and figure out exactly what we're gonna be doing with regards to this tiebreaker and when that's gonna happen, and I'll let you guys know in just a second. But until then, thanks for watching.